Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have grifter Bernie Sanders defending the use of a private jet, saying, well, there's no apologies. I need it for the rallies. So you and I can't take private jets. Well, I can't because they're expensive as hell. A private jet's like $16,000 plus. You can only afford that if you're basically your time is worth such a crazy amount of money that it makes sense. But yeah, believe it or not, it's like $16,000 plus to rent a private jet or take a flight on a private jet. It is insanely expensive. And as he would pretend to cry, oh, it's bad for the environment, he argues. But of course, in pure leftist fashion, is rules for thee, but not for me. Now, this is Bernie Sanders, which at least he did suit up. He did one good thing in his life. It is a very low bar being a perpetual, basically, leech on the public system and just getting paid to do nothing. And interestingly enough, having a lot of donations by people who exclusively work at Big Pharma. But nevertheless, it's only about 30 seconds of insufferability. Granted, some people might argue his voice is more insufferable than mine, or wait, as they say in Willy Wonka, wait, stop that, reverse. But let me go ahead and get that started here. This is a great juxtaposition of the hypocrisy of Bernie Sanders.
What we're doing now is speaking to the American people and saying, you have got to be involved in this process, because if you are not, the planet that we're going to leave to our kids and our grandchildren will be significantly less habitable.
5 rallies in a week, the only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
We're doing
lifetime grifter, communist piece of shit. Pardon the French, but yeah, talk about contributing nothing to society except stealing more of our tax dollars while he takes private jets, which, again, if you're an entrepreneur, more power to you. I mean, fun fact of the day, Walmart was actually built in part due to the success of Sam Walton's ability to use his private jet or propeller plane to actually look at new spots where they could put new Walmarts. You could go all over the U.S. and see, large areas of nothingness with a small town and say, hey, let's put a Walmart there. So again, for private sector, if you want to use private jet, more power to you. I aspire to get to the point where my time is so valuable, it actually makes economic sense for me to be in a private jet. That'd be, it could be kind of a weird dream come true. Not my main goal in life, but it'd be a cool side quest, so to say, or a side metric. But yeah, if you're on the public dime, granted, it's funded because of thanks to Big Pharma and all his employees giving him copious amounts of cash. Just ridiculous. Now, again, it's got 1.3 million views and 41,000 likes, with one of the first comments coming to us thanks to Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, Bernie Sanders is a typical liberal hypocrite, getting 891 likes. Rattleskin Sim says, quote, the guy who comes to the potluck empty-handed, complains about food everyone else brought, then tries to take all the leftovers. Yeah, getting 67 likes. Parody Public Radio has a picture of Bernie Sanders and says, I'm once again asking for you not to notice the 36 trillion in debt. Yeah, that's true. Though again, the money he's using is given by donors to his, not to defend him, but again, he's also responsible for, pushing more free shit, which again costs us taxpayers a lot of money to be given to people who don't actually contribute, fiscally speaking. I got, again, 65 likes. Just a Dude says, quote, don't forget about Big Pharma money. You have Bernie Sanders getting $1.9 million. Now, again, technically speaking, he always says he doesn't get money from Big Pharma. Technically, he gets his money from employees who work there. Now, when that's one of the largest donor categories on your whole list, I start to question, do you have a conflict of interest? Same goes with fake Native American Elizabeth Warren, got 1.2 million from them as well. And what's that? Other Democrats I can't recognize, though. At least they did suit up. They do one thing right. They got 200 likes. Yes, I have Doc Sun with a picture of Bernie Sanders being a meme. He says, no, I said, share your wealth, not mine. Getting 26 likes. Funny how back in the day, Bernie Sanders would rally against the millionaires, saying millionaires are so evil. And then when he became a millionaire, now he rallies against the billionaires. Though not George Soros or, leftists like Bill Gates. He talks about, he cries about Elon, like most leftists do. It's a big hobby of theirs. Scrolling down more and more. Yeah, America True said the communism is a joke, getting 5 likes. Kyle says he's always been a piece of shit, nothing new, getting 14 likes. Yeah. Ooh, here we go. Eric Foreman, not the 70s show, says, quote, a key moment in Animal Farm was the pigs changing their commandments to favor only them. Hence, all animals are equal becomes all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, unquote. Yep. And one of the best books of all time by George Orwell and all time. and great if you have kids. There's a lot of parallels between Animal Farm and 1984. 1984 is much darker, has some adult references thrown in there. Interesting how, in that book they notice how the easiest to manipulate are, young women who become party advocates, which happened in the real world. But if you have kids at home or you're just, starting to get into reading, Animal Farm is much shorter and easier to digest. The vernacular is a little bit more simple. I want to say it's like about half the pages, and the words are spaced out pretty good or pretty generously. I would consider it a great short read. It's one of the books I have that I frequently try to reread throughout the years. Though, again, it's not a happy book. That got 125 likes. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any contrarian statements. Because, again, there are a lot of, I was about to say idiots. Well, yeah, idiots who praise and love Bernie Sanders as he takes their money and pockets it. Let's see here. Deplorablistic says, quote, Bernie, you absolute button and buffoon and greedy capitalist pig, you're finished oligarch, getting 29 likes. Let's see. A lot of people trying to diss his hair, which, I'm not gonna diss a man's hair. Lord knows I've got my issues, obviously. One of these days I'll have enough time in my schedule to actually go and get a haircut. Meshat says, quote, the hypocrisy is off the scale. I'm too important to wait in line for a commercial flight, but need to save the planet. So you, the little people who are not important, will sacrifice yourself for our planet. Getting 84 likes. Also funny how Bernie Sanders and all his, leftist cronies, they all keep buying mansions on lakefront and seafront properties. Interesting. And yet they say, yeah, what did that silly little girl say? The Greta Thunberg, how dare you, girl, said we'd be underwater by 2010 or 2020. Yeah, so it's nice to see this go moderately viral so more people can see the pure hypocrisy of Bernie Sanders, who, again, really hasn't contributed anything to society. But let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.